Well, that's not real. It's a empty bottle and it's also root beer. Also something I don't actually drink. This is my wife's root beer bottle that she was gonna throw in the garbage. And I'm trying to think, though I stopped drinking soda in the year 2000. So it's been that long since then. Even before that, in the late 80s, I saw a whole bunch of people dying around me. And I saw one common thread with them, and they all ate fried chicken, whether it was from home, Kentucky Fried Chicken, or from Popeye's Chicken. Whatever it was, they could find some fried chicken. And I was like, no, that is not for me. That's like everybody gets diabetes, high blood pressure, and they end up dying earlier than they should. So I got away from that too early. And that was before I was 10. Now when it comes to like fried foods, it's a very rare occasional thing that I'll have something that's breaded that was actually fried. Um, but that's not the thought or plan for this video. It's actually about the thought where people would think that I'm straight edge because I don't drink, and it's not that I don't drink. Occasionally, I would drink, but it is not something that I desire to do. See, when I started drinking, that was back in, well, started drinking alcohol. That was back in 1996, I believe. It wasn't with the crew that I hung around as high schoolers. It was actually people that I worked with. I worked at a print shop in East Orange, New Jersey, and a guy there named Craze T. I would hang out with him. He was a little bit older than me, and we uh, going out drinking with him was somewhat of an adventure. We went to Skate 22, went to this place, went to that place. And whenever we were done with a bottle, we'd take a bottle wherever we were driving. And to confirm that we weren't drunk, we would stop the vehicle, stand the bottle up on the ground, and then drive off. Sometimes that would be smack dab in the middle of the Garden State Turnpike. So that was my introduction into drinking and so many other things. Because working at a print shop, you need flyers and stuff done. So one of the strip clubs that the print shop would print up flyers and stuff for, uh, we eventually went to one of their establishments, and that was my first time at a strip club. Granted, later on in life, I ended up working at multiple strip clubs, multiple different nightclubs, different things like that. Being immersed in an environment of debauchery, drinking, uh, drugs, all types of stuff. And for the most part, I didn't indulge. There were little bits and pieces of me being involved in stuff in that entire lifestyle, but it wasn't for me. I at 1999, I made a conscious decision that, in a phrase that I would tell myself, no more fucking for sport, because I didn't want to end up being somebody's baby daddy and just becoming a statistic for everyone everyone else. That is just, oh, he has baby mamas all over the place, and he's of lower stock because of choices and decisions. So having that mindset, working in those type of environments would really test you. And it wasn't because of because of my biblical beliefs. At that time I walked away from the church and decided that the church isn't for me, because I was going down that pathway. I was being a whore in church, on different church trips, uh different places that I would go. So that wasn't the hang up. It wasn't my thoughts about my connection with the most high. It wasn't my religion. It wasn't anything like that, because at the time I was wearing a hat of being an atheist or an agnostic, and it wasn't I wasn't being guided by uh, my morality wasn't being guided by the book. It was being guided by myself. I, my peak of drinking alcohol was around 18, 19. And then from there, it was like, I would much rather drive at 130 miles per hour than I would ever want to drink alcohol. So that was my trade off. That was my way of excusing myself from allowing myself to get inebriated. Again, there would be drugs and alcohol around me, and like, oh no, I gotta drive. That was always my excuse. So as time went on, that excuse became a lifestyle for me. Occasionally, I would drink some alcohol uh, when I was in environments where I felt comfortable and safe in the people that were around me. And it was never to get drunk, even though I did, like when we were at NJIT, New Jersey Institute of Technology. I had a friend that went to college there, and we would go there and hang out, go to the different parties, or just hang out in the dorms and everything. And this one time that I got extremely drunk, I think we paid like 500 and something for alcohol, and I was on the top bunk yelling out the window because two people passed out already, and then they wanted me to babysit them. So I'm yelling out at them out the window, and then I feel myself sit up, and then something hits me from behind. Now I'm on the top bunk of a bunk bed, and the thing that hit me from behind was the ground. And then I panicked because I knew the two dudes that were completely drunk and passed out, they were laying on the ground. So I got extremely scared, thinking that I crushed them from falling up there. I Where I fell, they had moved a little bit, and it was perfect. I just hit a concrete floor from all the way high up because I was drunk and inebriated. Eventually made it to the party super early, started dancing. There was nobody there. Back to the room and just done. So again, that wasn't me, because I like to drive fast. Then the times of working at Deco Lounge and Abyss in Sayreville, New Jersey, where I I was into flavored beverages. That's where I discovered Bailey's Irish Cream, and then at what is a place where you play video games at? Dave and Buster's. Dave and Buster's, I found out about cherry wheat Sam Adams beer. So those were my two favorites, and if it wasn't those two, I wasn't drinking them because the owners of the club, they started giving me shots of Johnny Walker Blue Label, and I couldn't understand or tell the difference between the different whiskeys. So I'm like, this is just a waste of money because it's not doing anything for me. I don't appreciate the flavor, so I'm just going to leave that alone. And oh, the awful champagne. How do y'all drink champagne? Hey, Moet? I don't know what tier that is in all the music videos. Everybody was popping bottles of Moet and people loved it, but I just thought that it was trash. Disgusting. One birthday party that I had at Deco Lounge that somebody else threw for me, and then uh, some of my family members came to party with me. My mom and I were dancing on tables and bars, and I don't know if there's any pictures or videos out there of that, but I actually it was on my MySpace page, and then MySpace decided that they were going to reset everything, and all of those pictures are lost forever. Unfortunately, unless I have them on a hard drive somewhere that I haven't touched in 10, 15 years, who knows where they are. But uh, that was my whole drinking thing. In high school, never smoked weed or anything, but there are plenty of people that I knew that did. I smoked two. Um, no, I smoked one Black and Milds because I smoked two cigars when I worked at Deco Lounge because there was somebody there rolling the cigars right there. Uh, so you saw the whole process. Again, I didn't know what a Cuban cigar was. I just heard about them. People would talk about how good they are. So maybe I should try it. So I tried it and I got like all the tingles because I'm inhaling, uh and I guess I was smoking it wrong because you're not supposed to inhale cigar smoke. That I guess was the same thing with the Black and Mild when I was a teenager. I did the whole thing, pulling the filter out, well, dumping the tobacco out, pulling the filter out, putting that back in, and smoking it. Is like I don't understand why people do this. It it smells better than the cigarettes that my mother smokes, but it's not, that's not a thing for me. So smoking isn't for me. When I worked at Bell Atlantic, that or Baxi Bell Atlantic, before they merged with GTE and created Verizon, my trainer Joe No Nose, because he had no nose, I believe he did some type of karate or something like that. So the cartilage that formed his nose got broken so often that they just took it out, and he was able to push his nose all over the place. But he dipped tobacco, and I was interested trying to understand why somebody would do that. So he showed me how to grab a pinch and then put it inside your lip. And it was like, okay, I don't know what's supposed to happen. He was like, give it time. But let me warn you, from now on, do not swallow your spit. Do not swallow the tobacco because you're going to throw everything up. And I was like, well, I don't feel anything. And then I went and pushed on it, and my eyes got super wide, and I started feeling these sensations going down the side of my head. And he was like, oh, it hit for you. I was like, yeah, it just happened when I pressed on it. Eyes went wide again, and then the sensations started going to the back of my head. I was like, oh, I understand why people smoke now. Because if you get a fraction of that sensation dipping that you do from smoking a cigarette, I get it. it's not for me, but let me try this and see if I actually liked it. So I got my own tin of some type of Copenhagen. I think it was like a cherry Copenhagen or something like that. And I did that for about a week or so. And it's like, up, I'm done with this. It's not for me. That altered state isn't for me. So life went on. Different experiences in life. Like all this isn't linear because that happened before I was working at the nightclubs and all the different things like that. So as time went on, I became a professional fighter. So there are people, again, just like in high school, that smoked weed and people that drank, and it wasn't for me because my biggest focus was not only keeping my body clean and pure for fighting when I have to get tested for all of these things. I can't be around marijuana because if that I can't even eat uh, burgers or sandwiches or stuff with poppy seeds on it because in my bloodstream that's going to test for heroin because of the poppy seed. So I had to be really meticulous with what I and conscious of what I'm putting in my body because I don't want to sign a fight, then go have to do all your medicals, get the blood tests and all that stuff, and then I get disqualified because of a banned substance is in my system. So then play around with any of that. But after my fight, I would treat myself, have a drink of Bailey's Irish Cream, and then that would be it. And it was time to go back to work and then get back to training, and that was my life. I also at that time had football, and what example did I want to leave for him? Did I want to leave the example that was put in front of me of needing a drink to unwind, needing a cigarette to be able to function throughout the day? Did I want to present that to him and keep that generational cycle continuing? No, didn't want to do that at all. So I had to keep focused with myself, and I also didn't want to try and try and put on a facade in front of him to say that, oh, well, I'm like this in front of you, but when I'm in front of everyone else, I'm something totally different. No, I have to be consistent with my son. And to be consistent with my son, I have to be consistent with myself because whatever I see in the mirror, that's going to be the reflection that I present out to everyone else. So time would go on, competing all the time. That was my life. People that I would come in contact with would say, "Oh, well, whenever you decide to retire, that's when I'm going to spark you up or give you an edible." And I would say yes to all these different people, even people that I played semi-pro football with that all they did was smoke. They would, everybody was planning for the day that, oh, whenever he retires from all of this stuff that requires him to get drug tested and all of that, then I'm gonna smoke with my boy. Like, oh yeah, yeah. Maybe by the let's put a definite timeline on that. When I turn 40, that's uh when I'm going to do something. That's when I'm going to either smoke marijuana or take an edible or listening to Joe Rogan. I'm going to go do an ayahuasca ceremony. I'm going to do all. No, I found the Father and then decided to move my family to the middle of nowhere, Oklahoma. So that's where I am now, with no desire to do any of that stuff. But I did start to realize, like, wait, what else am I doing that is a hindrance to me? A few months ago, I started to realize, like, why am I drinking coffee? Well, you all would see me with this everywhere I go. I would wake up, I would drink coffee. I would need hydration. Yes, I know coffee dehydrates you, but I would drink coffee. And then when it was time to go to sleep, when I'm completely exhausted and I need to get in bed right now, what would I do? I would drink coffee. But why? What was I getting out of it? Was it actually keeping me awake? Was it was it relaxing my body? At least that's what I told myself. That's what I said was going on with it. And no, it wasn't. It was the ritual that I was addicted to, not the actual coffee. It was the stuff that I mixed with it that gave it that good feeling or flavor. Or even when I would just drink it black, there was there was no benefit to it. It was just something different than water. And I was getting away from water because all that I would do is just drink coffee. I'm nowhere near uh, consistent with drinking a gallon of water a day at a minimum. When I was training, I was drinking close to 3 gallons of water per day. So I got to get back to that. So um, another thing, when I was fighting, occasionally I would get my hands on some uh, pre-workout. Explode. That was my pre-workout. You just take the scoop it in your mouth. Who has time for water? Take a swig of water, swish it around in your mouth, swallow it, and just wait for your skin to start itching on your face. Soon as soon as that was happening, it was time to go. I realized back then this is not healthy. Not healthy at all. It made me think about the one guy in Pennsylvania when I was playing semi pro football that was destroying me. I was playing center, I believe, and he was sacking the quarterback before I got the ball completely through my legs. But it turns out he was on 3 Red Bulls and I think 4 Stacker 2s, with the Stacker 2s with all the illegal stuff that was in there, and he was taking that. Then we went to halftime, came back out third quarter. I'm starting to pancake him. I'm able to drive him off the ball, and after a few plays, he didn't get back up. That's because his heart exploded. So whenever I would take Explode, I would think to myself, like, is this redlining my system to where I'm going to end up like that? So stop taking that. Now, occasionally, I take Megawatt by First Form. It This is starting to feel like coffee did for me because I'm not getting anything out of it. I'll just uh, put a scoop or two in with some water and drink it, and it tastes like a flavored beverage as opposed to it's waking me up. I feel a little bit more perky, but it's nowhere near it'll explode to where your face feels like there's stuff crawling on it. But I haven't made that conscious decision yet to stop with the First Form pre-workout. That's going to come in due time. But I'm off of coffee, few months, feeling good. It I My sleep is somewhat similar. I'm trying to force myself to go to sleep early. Like right now, ooh, it's 11 something and I'm still running my mouth here. The only other thing that I drink is I've been working on ginger bug. So all of this in here is ginger. It floats up and down because it's eating the sugar on the bottom, and this is a fermented beverage that is good for your digestive system, for your GI tract. You all know that I talk about and drink kombuchas, uh, but this is a fermentation that I really like, drinking the ginger bug. I'm trying to work on myself so that I can be a better me. Now, with strong drink, you're not supposed to, biblically, you're not supposed to get into drunkenness and stuff like that. So when when people talk about the Proverbs 31 woman, the real focus of that is being a Proverbs 31 man. How are you going to be a king so that a queen can humble herself to you? Are you going to allow drunkenness to separate you, or separate you from your kingdom, from the people that you interact with, and that become a stumbling block? You don't want that to happen. So this is Proverbs 31:1. The words of sovereign Lemieux, which is Samuel, King Samuel, and his mother calls him Lemieux. Why? Don't know. Wasn't around then, especially when this was written. A message which his mother taught him, what my chosen, and what chosen of my womb, and what chosen of my vows, do not give your strength to woman. So watch out for the hoes, nor your ways to wiping away sovereigns. Not for sovereigns, O Lemieux, not for sovereigns to drink wine. That's meaning kings. Not for princes to desire strong drink. Like, I've never desired strong drink, but I have desired coffee before. Like, it's like, oh, I got to get to it. I got to get to it. I got to get to it. Like, the first thought in my mind, coffee. Never alcohol. Never desire strong drink. Proverbs 31:5. Lest they drink and forget what is inscribed, and pervert the right of all afflicted. So you don't want to forget your mission. You don't want to forget the Father's word because you're drunk. You're off your square. You're not living up and being consistent to people that count on you. Where were we? Give strong drink to him who is perishing, and wine to those embittered in being. Let him drink and forget his poverty, and remember his trouble no more. So for someone that's dying or is in a extreme depression, give them drink. Maybe that'll help clear them up. They'll get out of their head. Open your mouth for the dumb in the cause of all the sons of the departed. Open your mouth, judge righteously, and plead the cause of the poor and needy. Who does find a capable wife? For she is worth far more than rubies. The heart of her husband shall trust her, and has no lack of gain. So how can you find a good wife if you are inebriated, and who you find, you got your beer goggles on thinking that she is going to be the one, and further back in Proverbs, she's going to turn out to be a contentious woman because you were not in the right state of mind. You were not being a king to be able to spot your queen to be on your arm, and now you messed up because you were inebriated. You were allowing something else to control you and get you off of where you were supposed to be. So there's a few other verses, like Proverbs 20, verse 1. Wine is a scoffer, strong drink for a brawler, and whoever is led astray by it is not wise. Now, what's a scoffer? A scoffer is someone who mocks, ridicules, treats something with contempt, often related to religious beliefs or moral values. Yeah, they talk crap about you because they don't have a moral compass. They just whatever is in a bottle, that's what they pour out, and then they got liquid courage because they've never been punched in the face before, and they just run off at the mouth instead of having a a balanced mind, a sober mind to be able to talk about whatever is needed to be talked about with logic as opposed to uh, whatever pops in their head. What is this? More Proverbs. Proverbs 23:20. Be not among heavy drinkers of wine or with gluttonous eaters of meat. That's Proverbs 23:21. For the drunkard and the glutton become poor, and slumber puts rags on a man. And do not, this is Ephesians 5:18. And do not be drunk with wine, in which it is loose behavior, but filled with the Spirit. That is that is what you should get drunk off of. That is what should be your pre-workout. That's what should be your coffee. That should be your treat. Diving into the word and fulfilling yourself with that knowledge so that you can be an example for whoever you need to be example for, whether it's your children, whether it's your brother, whether it's your sister. You have to be that consistency that they have to see, not just tell them what they need to do. So that is, I guess, my not sobriety, but my straight edge life. Hey, I don't live up to the definition of straight edge. I don't live up to the definition um of clean and sober, because what what I use, other people think like, oh, you you have a problem with coffee. Well, what about me and the cocaine that I do, or what about me and the alcohol that I drink? What about me and the heroin? What about me and the fentanyl? And you're worried about coffee? Yeah, you need to really look at what your addictions are. Oh, well, what I am addicted to is being a great example for my children. What I'm addicted to is being a husband that is alive and healthy for my wife. What I'm looking forward to is being that consistency for my brothers, because they know whenever they come to me, it's going to be a sober mind, because I made that choice. Not because I got arrested and then had to go to a program, or I was destroying other people's lives with my choices. No, I made this choice because I want to get closer to the Father. So that's about it. I hope this message made some sense. If y'all have any questions about it, please put them down in the subscribe. I mean, in the comment section down below. And if you have any extra questions onto anything that I said, uh, sure, ask away, and I'll make another video. Outside of that, y'all have a blessed one. Shalom.